You wake up at 6 a.m. You answer emails before breakfast. You work through lunch. You skip the weekend trip because there's too much to do. You're doing everything they told you to do. And yet, the person who works half as hard as you has twice as much money. The friend who took a year off to travel just bought a house before you. And you, grinding harder than any of them, are still checking your bank account before every purchase. Something is wrong with the formula. And the reason you're stuck isn't laziness. It's not bad luck. It's that you were handed a set of instructions that stopped working 40 years ago. You're running an operating system built for a world that no longer exists. Let's go back to 1955. A man graduates high school. He walks into a factory. He shakes a hand. He works the same job for 42 years. He retires with a pension, a paid-off house, and a gold watch. That was the promise. Work hard. Be loyal. The system will take care of you. And for about 3 decades after World War II, that promise mostly held. Wages rose alongside productivity. A single income could support a family. A factory job could buy a house, a car, a vacation once a year. The math was simple. 1 hour of labor equaled enough to live on, plus a little more. But something shifted, quietly, over about 20 years, and nobody sent you the memo. Between 1979 and 2020, worker productivity increased by 61%. Output per worker, value created per hour, all up. Wages? They rose 17% in that same period. Adjusted for inflation, most of that 17% disappears entirely. Think about what that means. You are producing 61% more value than a worker in 1979. And you are being paid almost exactly the same. Where did the rest go? That's the first question nobody wants you to ask. In 1982, the wealthiest 1% of Americans held about 10% of the country's total wealth. By 2024, that number had crossed 30%. The money didn't disappear. It moved upward into assets, into stocks, into real estate portfolios, into things that appreciate while their owners sleep, into things that hard work alone will never buy you. Here's the uncomfortable math. If you earn $70,000 a year and save 10%, you're putting away $7,000 annually. That's disciplined. That's responsible. That's exactly what every financial advisor tells you to do. But at $7,000 a year, it would take you 143 years to accumulate $1 million, without accounting for inflation. And $1 million in 2026 is not what it used to be. A modest house in an average American city costs $400,000. Comfortable retirement requires closer to $2 million. The math of working and saving no longer solves for the life you were promised. That is not a personal failure. It is not because you didn't budget tightly enough. It is not because of lattes. The equation itself has changed. But here's where it gets worse. It's not just that the rules changed. It's that you were taught strategies designed for the old rules. There are 3 traps, and you're probably in at least 2 of them right now. Trap 1, the hourly trap. You trade time for money. 1 hour, 1 paycheck unit. Nothing wrong with this. Almost everyone starts here. But here's what they don't tell you. Time has a ceiling. Money does not. You can work 40 hours. Push to 60. At 80, your body starts breaking. At 100, you are dead. That is the ceiling. The person whose income is not tied to their hours. The investor, the owner, the person who built something that earns while they sleep. They have no ceiling. They earn money while you're resting. While you're off on the first weekend you've had in 3 months. The hourly trap isn't that it pays poorly. It's that it caps you. Without telling you, there's a cap. Trap 2. The loyalty trap. You stay at the same company. You work harder than everyone around you. You think someone is noticing. And sometimes it does pay off. In 3% raises, inflation in 2025 was 3.4%. Your loyalty just earned you negative real income. Meanwhile, the person who switched jobs every 2 to 3 years saw their salary jump 15 to 20% each move. The loyalty that felt like integrity was actually just slowing you down. Trap 3. The identity trap. This one's psychological. You were told that hard work defines you, that your output is your worth, that I'm busy and I'm valuable mean the same thing. So when the data shows effort and reward have decoupled, it feels like an attack on who you are. So you double down. You work harder. You grind more. Because if the formula is broken, what does that say about all those years you followed it? This is the trap that keeps the other two in place. It's not economic. It's emotional. So what actually works? It's structure. Wealth is built on 3 things. None of them are how many hours you work. Ownership. Not of a job, not of a position. Ownership of assets. A share of a company, a piece of a property, a stake in something that grows while you are not touching it. Every wealthy person you can name is wealthy because they own something that appreciated. Leverage. Labor is 1-to-1, 1 hour, 1 unit of output. Leverage breaks that ratio. Code is leverage. You write it once, it runs 1,000,000 times. Content is leverage. You record it once, 1,000,000 people watch it. A business is leverage. You build the system, and other people's effort multiplies your output. The people who broke free from the hourly trap didn't work harder. They built something that scaled independently of their time. Time horizon. The wealthy think in decades. Most people think in paychecks. Compound growth doesn't reward intensity. It rewards patience. $500 a month into an index fund for 30 years will make you a millionaire. Not because you earned a fortune, because you gave the math time to work. But here's what nobody says out loud. All 3 of these, ownership, leverage, time horizon, require something that hard work alone cannot provide. They require margin. Margin is what's left after your expenses. The gap between what you earn and what you spend. For most people working hard in 2026, that gap has been closing for 2 decades. Rent has outpaced wage growth in every major city. Childcare costs have tripled in 30 years. Healthcare premiums have more than doubled since 2008. These are not avocado toast problems. These are structural costs eating the margin that would otherwise become investments. Ownership. Freedom. And this is where the hard work trap tightens. Because if you're working 60 hours a week just to maintain, you don't have the energy to build something on the side. If your margin is 0, you can't invest. If you're exhausted, you can't think strategically about the next decade. The system doesn't just take your money, it takes your cognitive capacity. It takes your future. This is not your fault, but it is your problem to solve. So what do you actually do? The uncomfortable answer is this. You stop playing the old game entirely. You stop measuring your worth by how tired you are. You stop trading hours for money, whenever you can avoid it. You start protecting your margin. Not to buy things, to buy freedom. The game was never about effort alone. It was about structure, leverage, and time.